hear me? Uh, Welcome to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. I am your hillbilly and hippie host, Amy. Hope everybody is having a wonderful Sunday afternoon. I would like to wish all the good fathers out there happy Father's Day. Hey Griff, how are ya? Hey Pam. Want to wish all the good fathers out there a wonderful Father's Day. Hope you had a great day. For those who have been a good father, mine wasn't. So. Oh, okay. Hey Pam, how are you? Oh goodness, it is so hot in the South. And if you live in the South, you know. I think I'm going to have to call Key's Private Eyes and have him hunt down Mother Nature. Lock that loony bitch up. She's off her meds like him again. I mean, this heat ought to be a crime. It's awful. Oh man, I know what you mean. Let me send a shout out to Griff and Pam who are battling COVID right now. Hey, True Crime and Coffee, how are ya? Send a shout out to them. They are battling COVID right now, and we wish that they get better soon and get back on these YouTube Skreetz because we need the good people out here in these YouTube Skreetz. A lot of strange things going on in the world. I think Vecna is definitely alive and well and running around here on planet Earth. God knows there's enough demogorgons out here running around, especially on YouTube. Grilling for your daddy. My dad died, let's see, 3 years? No, longer than that. He died a few years. Actually, he died at the beginning of my RV life, my Glamper life. He had a stroke, another stroke, and he had dementia problems, and he was in a nursing home, and my step families, or actually one of my step brothers and my step aunt, found me on Facebook and contacted me because they wanted, us to make amends. And we did. I hope that none of you have to wait until your dad is dying and has dementia to try to make up 40-something years of a relationship, because don't wait that long. I didn't wait by choice, but that's just how it all happened. But anyway, Yeah, a lot of strange things going on in the world right now. Got my Stranger Things popcorn, and I'm ready to talk about it. So, let's get to chat. Now, I'm going to warn y'all that there will be some sensitive topic discussed. Just a little bit. So let me just, someone put a trigger warning in the chat for me, please. And that I'm going to talk about a sensitive topic. And I'm going to... there's going to be some political talk, but it is not political talk that is biased one way or another. This is for everybody. This needs to be heard. This needs to be talked about. Because it's just nuts. Let's see. Friday, I had to put my car in the shop. And I got to take it back tomorrow, too, to have some more work done. They had to order some parts. But Friday, I took my car to the shop, and I was in the waiting area, just sitting there, and the television was on, and it was on Fox News, and I don't know what the program's called, but Kaylee, the girl that was the girl that was the spokesperson for the Trump administration, she's on that show, and some other ladies. And they were talking about a group of people who are, they're an extremist group. And I don't agree with extremist groups, whether you're a right-wing extremist group or whether you're a left-wing extremist group. This whole battle to be the alpha dog and thinking that violence is the answer, killing one side or the other or hurting one side or the other, it's not the answer. And I don't agree with none of it. But they were talking about, as y'all know, Roe v. Wade has been in the news. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Roe v. Wade has been in the news. There's been a big court battle and all that stuff. And despite whether you support the right to choose or pro-life, it doesn't matter to me. But there's an extremist group out there called Jane's Revenge. And they are out here spray painting threats, and they are vandalizing churches, and they're vandalizing places that help support pregnant women to not have an abortion, but to have the baby, and I guess, help them, or maybe with adoption or something. I don't really know, but it's some places that help women to not have abortions. And anyway, these people are spray painting buildings and threats and all kinds of stuff, and destroying these people's buildings And I don't agree with this stuff. You know, whether it's not about what you support. It's not about which side you're on. Violence is not the answer. The world has gone fucking mad. I mean, violence, I understand, has been around for many moons, you know, and all the way back to the Bible days. But this violent mentality in the world right now, with, you've got violence with, you've got bullying in schools, you've got bullying online on the internet, you've got extremist groups who want to hurt people or kill people in the name of politics and religion and their opinions and beliefs. And you've got people out here, people are killing their children every single day, and they're dumping their little bodies out in the woods. People are shooting up elementary schools. I was told Griff last week on his during his live, when he and I were talking, and we were, you know, airing out what all was bothering us and everything going on in the world. And I'm like, we don't have a gun problem. We got a human problem. We got a decline in the human race problem. A mentality, whether it's mental illness or whether it's, you know damn well what you're doing. And a lot of these extremist groups know what they're doing. But just violence, 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 violence. And then you have places like here on YouTube that support violence. They support YouTube creators saying whatever the hell they want to about people, whether it's true or not. And it's disgusting. It's what happened. I don't want to get off on no rant of preaching about Revelations, but it does talk about this in Revelation, not in Revelations, but in the Bible, and how in the end days and whatnot, that people are going to be greedy and boastful, and they're not going to have any kind of morals or empathy or sympathy, and you know, the children are not going to mind their parents, and it talks about that. And you know, I don't believe all that crazy shit Chad Daybell does, but as far as the end times, and as far as the zombie apocalypse, it is upon us. There's thousands of them over there in Benny Key's chat. Thousands of zombies over there believing the bullshit that he puts out on YouTube. Like he is some kind of a god. And they're eating that shit up, believing it. And it's nothing but a con. False prophet. But I am so tired of all of us letting the media run our lives and tell us how to shit, shower, shave, and what to think. I mean, like, my local news, you know, you turn on the 5 o'clock news or the 10 o'clock news in your local hometown, and they're pretty good about just reporting your local news, and then they'll get to a little bit of world news. But they're not so much biased in their reporting. Now, all we have are, we've got CNN, we've got Fox News, MSNBC, these world news channels that, and our regular channels that have talk shows such as The View and what's the one that I quit watching? When they got rid of Sharon Osbourne, I was done. But all these news programs are biased news programs, whether they're right wing or left wing, and they just feed us their opinions, their thoughts, their opinions on stuff. It's not about being a journalist and just reporting the news anymore, unless you're, like I said, you're watching your local news. It's everyone, it's all biased. And that is what is feeding us into the division that we're in here as in the United States, that has driven us so far apart that the beast has come out in all of us. And we're just, you know, at each other's throats. And I don't like it. I don't like this shit. As Axl Rose said at the beginning of Civil War, I don't like it any more than you do. And I don't. Because what my Bible teaches me is that God is the only judge. I am not the judge. You are not the judge. It is not our place to judge. And last time I checked, I live in the United States of America, where freedom is supposed to reign, where we have laws based on freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to own guns, and we have freedoms. And no one is taking my free thinking, my free thoughts away from me. No one's going to tell me what to believe, or what to think, or what opinion to have. If I want to be a conservative who supports gay marriage, that's my right. That's my free will thinking. If I want to be a white woman and support Black Lives Matter, that's my right. That's my free will thinking. But we have been pushed into these category, we've been pushed into a place where we have to be on one side or the other. And I don't like it. I've never been a judgmental person. You know, I don't care if you're rich or poor, if you're black or white, if you're straight or gay, if you're short or fat or skinny or tall. I don't care if your house is not clean. I don't care if you're a hoarder. I don't care if you got cockroaches. You know, we all come from different walks of life. And I don't judge people for what they have or don't have. One thing you can say about me is that I have never judged Don and Candace Wells for not having a nice home, or for a kid swimming in a dirty pond. I mean, I have swam in every dirty creek, pond, lake, river in Arkansas my entire life. So that's one thing you'll never hear me, is that I've not judged them on, you know, what they have that's nice or not nice or whatever. But that whole thing on the news, you know, that I was sitting there listening to, and then later on, one of them was bitching about marijuana, and saying that she left New York because her kids shouldn't have to walk down the street smelling marijuana. Now, I don't know shit about New York. I know they got a shitty governor, but here in Arkansas, we only have medical marijuana, which I qualify for, which I get. But I am bound by certain laws. I cannot walk around out in public smoking it. Let's just say I lived at an apartment complex. I couldn't sit out on the balcony at my apartment complex and smoke it. I can't travel across state lines with it. We all do, Griff. We all do. You know, I'm bound by certain things that I can and cannot do. So, I mean, I can't imagine that even if New York is a state where it's where they have recreational marijuana, I don't think you can walk down the street smoking it. I wouldn't think that you could. I would think that you have to abide by some kind of laws or rules. I do. I don't know, but she is bitching. She is bitching about she is bitching about marijuana and all this stuff, and I'm like, shut your mouth. Until you have suffered from chronic pain, chronic headaches, anxiety, depression, whatever, fibromyalgia, glaucoma, rheumatoid arthritis, don't judge people. Because These pharmaceutical pills are going to kill you before marijuana is going to kill you. And with the crackdown that they've done, we've had a major crackdown on it in Arkansas. Don't even get me started talking about the drug czar of Arkansas, because we have a long history. We go back. And he and I have had some showdowns. And I'll leave it at that. But with the crackdown of opiates and narcotics and barbiturates and stuff, people who are in chronic pain are having a hard time getting pain medicine anymore. We have to go to pain management. We have to be treated like we're on parole, like we're going to see our parole officer. Submit to drug tests and all that. And, it's not fun. And even at pain management, unless you're sitting there with your arms and legs chopped off, they've gotten to where they're extremely strict about what they give you. So if a drug that is not going to hurt you or kill you, you can take and do or smoke, whatever, and be okay, maintain your whatever issue that you have, like I said, whether it be pain or headaches or anxiety or whatever, then don't you think that's a good thing? But no, it's always people running their mouth who don't have a clue, who haven't been there, who haven't experienced something. I can't, you can be as book smart as you want to be. And you can have an education. You can be a Google expert and dictionary reader. But common sense will get you further than anything. And common sense is something that's just gone out the damn door. I need a cigarette. Uh-oh. I guess I left it in the house. Well, I'll be damned. Excuse me. But in other news, I posted a link in the description box, and it's a link to a YouTube video. No, that's right. And like, those are the laws that I have to abide by as a medical marijuana recipient. I can't drive high. I can't smoke it while I'm driving down the road. I can't smoke it walking down the sidewalk at Walmart. I couldn't even take it with me to Virginia when I went to Virginia. I can't cross state lines with it. So, I mean, now, like I said, I don't know what the deal is with the states that have recreational, but I would think that there has to be some law, because technically marijuana is still illegal on the federal level. So, you know, you got to have some, there's got to be some kind of law and order with it, even recreational. But anyway, in other news, there is a video that I posted the link down in the description box. It's from Sheriff Grady Judd, Polk County. They apparently did another child predator sting operation and didn't even have to call Predator Nation. Imagine that. They didn't have to call the guys from Predator Nation. You know, them child predator hunters on YouTube. Didn't even need their help. They made 12 arrests. One employee of Disney. It's always Disney. There's always something pedophile-ish attached to Disney. Somehow, some way. Disney, Nickelodeon, you know, it's just child predators, full of them. And he was doing his stuff on the internet while he was at work, while he's supposed to be shuttling people back and forth to Disneyland or Disney World, whichever one's in Florida. I think it's Disney World. But one of the guys that they arrested was an employee who works on Black Hawk. Yeah. Child predators, they come from all walks of life. And these people traveled to this destination that they had sting operation that they had set up to, you travel to this destination to meet who you think you're talking to, 13, 12, 14-year-old girls and boys, to do things with. And sending videos and of themselves engaging, doing whatever they're doing. I will warn you ahead of time, and that's why I'm trying to be easy here, because the video is graphic. They talk about what each person they arrested was doing, and it's a bit graphic. So, pre-warning. But go and watch that video. It is just sickening. So sickening to think, to know these people are out here and you don't know who they are. You don't know who these child predators are. They don't have a stamp on their forehead like Charlie Manson. You know, they don't have a sign around their neck or a tattoo, you know. You don't know who they are. You don't know where they're at. You don't know where they work. You don't know if you're living next door to one. I don't even get it. I don't. But whatever. I'm not trying to get it. I'm not trying to understand child predation. I'm not trying to understand a child predator. Everyone hold that thought. I will be right back. Give me 2 seconds. I have returned. Did you miss me? Is it July 1st yet? Because I'm ready for July 1st. I'm ready for Volume 2 of Stranger Things. Even though we're living through some pretty strange things, like I said, here on planet Earth. Vecna is alive and well, and there's demogorgons everywhere. So, let's talk about the strange things in Hawkins County. Sounds like Hawkins County had a pretty eventful week, even without YouTubers in town. They had how should I say this? From Greenville to Jonesboro, not Jonesboro, Arkansas, but Jonesboro, Tennessee. If you'll remember, those of you following Summer's case, that is the town where Dawn was supposed to be working, was in Jonesboro. There was a MS, that's murder, taking your own life. And sadly, someone did. They took someone's life and then they took their own. Then somebody, y'all, I got a hair in my face. My nose is itching. Then someone stole a food truck. Hi, Rosie. Someone stole a food truck. Yeah, hard-working people who have worked their ass off. Someone stole their food truck. And their business was doing really good, you know, since COVID and all that, and someone took their shit. That's the thing. People don't want to work for nothing anymore. They want somebody to give it to them. They want to steal it. They want to sit on their ass and beg for other people to support them. And it's just, like I said, it's just the decline of the human race. And, you know, with things being, you know, there's so much that you can do online now to make money that's honestly so ridiculous. I mean, like I said, I was saying it and said this in another live, you know, you can get millions of views and make money on TikTok, dress up in a Halloween costume, and go twerk through Walmart. That is the mentality of the human race now. We have seen every single type of people on some type of a reality show. Whether it be Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, where you got people, poor rednecks. You've got Basketball Wives. You've got the Real Housewives of Bel Air and Beverly Hills and New York and Atlanta, and you've got all these. You had reality shows about little people. You've had prison wives. You've had reality shows about socialites being dingy. You got reality, the queens of reality TV got famous because one of them had a sex tape. And it blew up from there. That is the reality of our world today. That you can become famous doing absolutely nothing, or become famous it's crazy. We don't have the amazing MTV music videos anymore. They support being 16 and pregnant. And you can get famous from that. Look at Farrah Abram. That is the mentality of our world now. And then I sit here and I talk about violence, and I talk about what's wrong with the world, and that's where we are. And you have people sitting at home putting content out on like YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and getting paid for it to do absolutely nothing. I'm not sitting here talking to any of you about anything and getting paid for it that I wouldn't sit and talk to you to your face, or over the telephone, or in a letter for free. I mean, the last time I checked, friendship was free. Not according to some YouTube creators. You got to pay $50 a month to be their friend. You got to send them $100 super chats to be their friend for them to even acknowledge you. I ain't wired like that. I'm from the old school. And you have no idea how hard it is for me to function in this world. Now, I love being a podcaster. I love being a YouTube creator. I love my Spotify channel. I love talking about true crime and cases. But it's not anything that I would not sit down at the kitchen table with you, or come over to your house, or ride down the road in the car and talk to you about for free. Unless you're just completely clueless about true crime, and my kids get tickled at me because they, or just anybody, I talk to them about cases or crimes or something that just happened in the news, and they're like, what? Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. I forget sometimes when I'm talking to my landlord that I'm old enough to be her mother. She's way younger than me, and I'll talk about something that happened in the 90s, and she'd be like, I was in diapers. I wasn't born yet. But, yeah. Oh, I forgot about this. I made some notes on the other news that happened in Hawkins County. I've kind of gotten off track. Sorry about that. There was an attempted kidnapping of a woman and a child that's going through a divorce, and the dad is, don't want to take no for an answer, and don't want a divorce. So apparently he had his mother, or had his wife and child kidnapped, or tried to. There were 9 cars damaged in Kingsport at a car lot when a woman fell asleep at the wheel and crashed into a car lot and damaged 9 cars. And this is the one that gets me. This one right here is the one that gets me. A sit-in protest at the Hawkins County Board of Education. A lady named Siobhan Lovell filed a federal lawsuit because her child is being racially bullied and harassed, not from students, from administration. Why in the world is someone in the education business, public education, and you want to be racially biased, or you want to be racially towards a child, rather than teaching them an education? This is 2022. This is not 1960. A black kid growing up, in the hood, the ghetto, whatever, has a hard enough time staying away from the gangs and the gang activity. Honey, I lived through that shit in the 90s. I worked in Southwest Little Rock, the height of the gang wars. I have been shot at. I've had my life threatened. But these kids have a hard enough time growing up with families that are broken. And this is all families. This is not just black families. This is white families too. Mexican families, whatever. You got parents on drugs, absentee parents, but you have oh, okay, go ahead. It is hard enough for black kids growing up to stay away from the gang activity, to stay away from the drug activity, and try and be something and not be dead before they're 18. Not be robbing people when they're 15 years old, selling crack. It's hard enough. These kids are there to get an education, which is something we all need. And you want to treat these kids like that instead of, you want to make it hopeless for them by making it so unbearable to go to school that they drop out and they do end up in the gangs. They do end up selling drugs. They do end up at the liquor store robbing people. What the hell is wrong with people? What the hell is wrong with adults? You're in the wrong business to be a racist by being in the education program, by being in our education, public education, any kind of education. It's sickening. You know, I've grown up in the South. I've grown up in Arkansas. And which, you know, is a part, I grew up on the rebel flag, you know, all that stuff. But the rebel, that stuff was taught to me as Southern pride and Southern redneck freedom. My friends and I were not taking black kids out in the woods and beating them up or doing anything to them. Matter of fact, we hung out together. Lord, I'll never forget the night we went to China Grove Cemetery. All you could see was Robert's eyes glowing. Some of the dumb shit I did when I was a teenager. But, you know, I followed the Ahmaud Arbery case. It's all on my Spotify channel. If you haven't heard my Spotify channel, it's the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. And I followed the Ahmaud Arbery through the trial, through the state trial, the federal trial, all of it. And, of course, you know, little town in Georgia. But I just could not, the way they chased that boy down and killed him because he was the wrong color in their neighborhood. He was the wrong color looking at a house under construction that several white people had walked into as well. You know, I just could not get over the way they chased him down like that and what they did. And that kind of shit is still going on in this century. Now, with the cop shootings, I don't always view those as being racially motivated. A lot of people do. I decide on that. Was Derek Chauvin a racist? Yeah, he was. But I don't view all of the police shootings as racially motivated. But things like that, things like the Ahmaud Arbery case, was nothing but racially motivated. And how people could be in our education system now and treat kids like that. It's just insane. Of course, most adults now act like they're 12 years old. It's pathetic. So, Ronnie Lawson had his hands full this past week without the YouTubers. Now, as far as I know, everything went smoothly. Nobody killed it. No YouTube creators beat each other up or killed each other or anything like that. The only complaint came from Bullhorn Betty, who claimed that there was a bunch of stuff, trinkets and different things that were left by people at the watering hole, at the swimming hole, for summer, and that a bunch of those items had been taken. It was been reported that it was Robin Lane who took the stuff. I don't know. I can't verify that, but and no one, not even her, what do you call it, Sunday school teacher, whatever, had any right to take anything that people had took and left as a trinket, remembering and memorializing Summer Wells. Oh, really? But, no. No, honey. I'm on camera, honey. I'm on my YouTube channel, okay? Can y'all go over there, please? Thank you. Okay, save me some, and when I get through talking to online, I'll eat some. Kids have got some blackberries, so. But, here we are, a year later, and we still don't know what happened to Summer. We have no clue. No closer to finding her or finding out what happened to her. And I don't know what to say. I mean, you've got they've got kittens, but they came up here. They've got some blackberries, and they were gonna give me some blackberries. Yes, her parents. We've got parents who allegedly won't cooperate with law enforcement. We've got law enforcement that has absolutely no leads whatsoever as to what happened to this child. And know what, I honestly, I don't know what more can be said or can be done or bitched about or protested against or whatever about this investigation. Somebody's going to have to shit or get off the pot. Either law enforcement's going to have to crack this case. They're going to have to crack the witnesses. They're going to have to crack the people who last saw her. Or they're going to have to confess or something. I just cannot believe that there's no... They have nothing. Nothing. Here we are a year later and have absolutely nothing. And, oh, yes, I know he has. He has said some very disturbing things. And I will never understand. I've never seen the likes of this before in my life. The ever-changing stories and all this things that they've said in drunken stupors and yeah, I'm hoping I'm hoping that maybe her disappearance was for a greater good. But I don't know, that it was. It's hard to say. It's hard to know. But what I don't understand is why no headway has been made at all. Somebody somewhere knows something. And it's just time to bring this fiasco to an end. I blame a lot of people. I mean, I blame the parents. I blame the law enforcement. I blame the... Yeah, oh, I know. It's disgusting. TBI, oh, yes, definitely, because it's bothered a lot of people, that we just... There are a million theories as to what happened to that child. And many of them are not good. And I just don't... We've got... And, of course they had something... They had their usual nasty message for YouTubers. And they were, complaining about how YouTubers have damaged the investigation and how people are disgustingly making money off of this child's name by spreading, rumors and all that kind of stuff. And here's the thing. How many of y'all's moms told y'all the story about the little boy who cried wolf? The little boy who cried wolf. Yeah, her brothers. I tell you, her brother, at this point, her brothers and what they have to say are the only people that I will believe. Honestly. But the little boy that cried wolf, he kept crying wolf when there was no wolf, until one day there was a wolf, and nobody believed him, and he was mauled and eaten by the wolf. Then there's the little boy who sits in his mama's garage and calls TBI every day with all the tips he gets from YouTube subscribers and people that, you know, think that he is somehow the lead detective on this case. I believe the lead detective's name on this case is Pruitt. And the sheriff's name is Ronnie Lawson. But some people seem to believe that this little boy who calls TBI every day with his tips is the lead investigator. And at some point, you know, I know damn well that TBI knows who he is. Hawkins County knows who he is. Ronnie Lawson knows who he is. The FBI knows who he is. The CIA probably knows who he is. I mean, he's from Texas. I mean, he probably hangs out down there at the Bush compound. But calling TBI with bullshit every fucking day. And there's been other callers too. I'm not going to put it all on him. There's other callers too that have called in stuff, you know, that they heard on YouTube, but they heard it on YouTube. Or that's this Donna woman who's supposed to be a psychic, and you know, I don't know nothing about her, but there's only one woman in this entire world that is a psychic, that is the real deal, and I know for a fact that she's the real deal. She is the woman, she is the person that I would call if my child were missing. I would call her first before I called law enforcement. She has worked with law enforcement all over the world helping solve cases. A friend of mine who is a criminal investigator and his wife, who was a juvenile probation officer, yeah, I know that they say lightning don't strike twice. But this woman, my friend Henry, who was a criminal investigator, he's passed away now, and his wife was a juvenile probation officer. Their son was kidnapped. Their teenage son was kidnapped from his job at a little grocery store many years ago. And you know, they thought that it was someone seeking, naturally, they thought because they were in law enforcement and had been in law enforcement for many, many years, that this was some type of a revenge ordeal. Turns out it wasn't. It was a predator, a pedophile. But it was this psychic that let them know that their son was still alive, that what was happening to him, where he was. Everything that went on, she was able to tell them. And finally, the man blindfolded Tyson, put him in the car, and took him and dropped him off in a neighborhood and let him go. The man had no idea he had kidnapped two cops' kid. And had it not been for Carol, Carol also helped find a woman in my neighborhood, actually. A woman that I had taken care of at a nursing home that was down the street from my house. Helped one of the bitten police officers, who was my neighbor, find this woman. And like I said, I knew this woman. I had taken care of, I had worked at the nursing home she wandered off from, because it was right down the street from my house. And they found her alive. She gave very detailed description as to what happened the night my friends Kevin Ives and Don Henry were murdered on the railroad tracks. This woman's the real deal. And like I said, if my own child were missing, I would call her first before I ever even called law enforcement. Especially the law enforcement around here. They ain't worth tits on a boar hog. But I have thought about Carol every day since Summer's been missing. And Monkey. And trying to find out what happened to Colin Schulte and Crystal Turner. And different, cases that are going on. Where is Harmony and Oakley and all that. And I think about her, I think about Carol every day, and I'm like, if only these law enforcement people would give her a chance. Now, I'm not saying there's a lot of fake psychics out there and fake tarot card readers and these spirit boxes or whatever this shit is that they do. There's a lot of fake people out there. But Carol is the real deal. She is the real deal. And I wish that I had the ability to get a personal item of Summers and a photo. That's what she usually works with, to take to her to find out myself what happened to that child, where she is she still alive. Unfortunately, I don't, have the ability to do that. And Carol works a lot on site as well, where the crime happened. She did not go to the railroad tracks. where Kevin and Dawn were murdered, but she described everything in detail. And Linda and her husband went out there and found every marker, everything that she detailed in her description of what happened to her son. And when Tyson was kidnapped, she went to the store. She went to the parking lot where he was kidnapped from. And she was able to tell which direction they went, which direction of the parking lot. There's 2 sides to the parking lot, and which one they went out and which direction, everything. And, I just wish that I was able to, to somehow get her involved and get her to see, what she has to say about Summer, because she's the only person I'm going to believe. She's the only person out there that says, I'm a psychic, and, I believe her because I know her work firsthand. And I know she's legit, and I know she's the real deal. And she is the person that I would call if my own child were missing. But people like Ronnie Lawson are never going to go for that kind of shit. Even though she's got the credentials to back her up, she's worked with law enforcement all over the world, solving cold cases and missing person cases and homicides and you name it. She is a gift from God. Some people think that psychics are like the devil's work or whatever. No, this woman is a gift from God. She is. But I guarantee you, I can hear it now. Can y'all imagine my hillbilly ass calling Ronnie Lawson and saying, okay, I can solve the Summer Wells case for you. Are you ready? And me telling him this story. And he would probably hang up on me before he ever even listened to me. And that not just goes in with, people not believing in psychics, but it also goes in with the little boy who cried TBI. They're so sick of bullshit, and they're so sick of bullshit callers and people calling them with tips and whatnot, that if someone called in right now and told them, Summer's standing right here in front of me, y'all want to come pick her up? They wouldn't believe them. They would not believe them. So I don't, unless there is a real conspiracy behind this case and somebody starts talking, are we ever going to figure out what happened to Summer? And are we ever going to find her? Don's in jail, and he penned his little half-page letter to Summer. And, well, hello, Heather Lynn. Where in the hell have you been? I ain't seen you in a month of Sundays. But, you know, Don's sitting up there in the jail, and he's reading his Bible and praying and whatnot. And, but yet, if he does know anything about what happened this summer, it's not, it's not affecting him in any way. And whether something accidentally happened to her, or whether she was abducted, they've got to have some idea of who did this and why. If they didn't kill her themselves, or they didn't, or something bad didn't happen, and you know, they buried her and covered it up or whatever, if there was any type of abduction, they have to know who did this. And speaking of the little boy that cried TBI, there's been a story that was put out, a very disturbing story. Someone called him and claimed to have someone that has worked with the family knows, she got me. Someone that's, you know, worked with the family, told somebody else that this such and such story is what happened this summer. And it's a very, very, very disturbing story. It cannot be verified. The people that reported the story are felons. And that's not to say that just because somebody's a felon that they're a liar. Rather than call the police and report it to the police, they don't want to get nobody in trouble, and they don't want to, you know, get this woman fired for illegally discussing private HIPAA law information with the John Q. Public, or the boyfriend, or whoever. So who do they call? Mouth Ralph of the South. The little boy that cried TBI. And tell him. And he does his investigation into whether or not the information is correct, or if there's any legitimacy to this phone call. Now, Heather, I will say that that the story that we're talking about is a theory that I've had all along. It's one of the theories that I've had all along. I've had two main theories: accident and drug debt. And this falls in line with the drug debt, because I know firsthand how far the dope man will go to get revenge, or to get their money, or whatever, when you fuck over the dope man. My ex-husband was involved with some bad people long time ago, and Had it not been for my brother-in-law sleeping in a porch swing with a shotgun, they would have took my kid. Because he ripped off the dope man. There was a girl that, and I couldn't stand this girl, and y'all, she was a patron of the club that I worked at in Little Rock. And she was a drug dealer. And I did not like her. She had dated a friend of mine, and I just didn't like this girl. So they come to the bouncers would come. I was the shooter girl. I was the one that oh yeah, definitely. I was the girl who sold the test tube shots. There was another girl that sold the Jell-O shots. I sold the test tube shots. But the bouncers would come to me when there was a problem with a female, and for me to deal with it. And there was a girl passed out in the women's bathroom in the floor, and so they're like, Amy, we need you to come check it out. We need to see what's going on. So I go in the bathroom, and there's a girl lying face down with her pants around her ankles, like she was sitting on the toilet and just fell forward, just ka-thunk. And so I cleared the bathroom, and that shell engine playing Good People. No, I hadn't seen that yet. Sickening. Men with daddy issues and short dick syndrome. It's pathetic. And that's exactly what's wrong with them fellas. But so I clear the bathroom, and I call Kevin and David and all them to come in, and I said, we need to roll her. I mean, this girl is out cold, and I'm like, we need to roll her over and make sure she's breathing, make sure she's not dead. And I rolled her over, and I said, that's fucking Tasha. I said, that geeking bitch. I said, Kevin, check her pockets. He reached in her pockets and pulled out an 8-ball of dope. We finally got her conscious, and she was banned and barred from the club from then on. And that girl had to hide from the dope man because we took her dope. She had to hide from the dope man for a while. I don't know. I don't even know whatever became of it, because that's the last time I saw her. But yeah, when you owe money, when you owe a dope debt or a drug debt, bad things can happen. So that is a theory that I have gone with, especially because I couldn't understand, all that talk about the cornbread mafia and whatever, and that's been, a debatable, kind of an old legend there in Tennessee or whatever, of exactly what it is it still operating, blah, blah, blah. And I could not understand why Candace got so upset and so bent out of shape and walked off the Dr. Phil show when she was asked about the Cornbread Mafia. And that's the only thing that I could think of, was that whether it's the Cornbread Mafia, the Dixie Mafia, the New York Mafia, or who it is, there's something to it. There's something to that story, that theory, possibly. And it's sad. But I was just floored, by the whole story. And I felt like that it, was putting those boys' lives in danger. And at some point, y'all, the sun's going in and out, and the shade is so, that's why things are coming in and out of focus. Oh God, yes, it was definitely uncalled for to play on YouTube. I mean, it was graphic what they stated happened, and did not need to be put out there, whether it's true, whether it's not true. You don't just put that kind of shit out there. It's one thing that we sit here as creators and subs and whatnot, and speculate on what could have happened or whatever. But to put something like that out there and talk about these children's private information that's totally against HIPAA law, that's not cool. There is some really, really I'm not playing it. I won't play it. It's just too graphic in nature, for me. And the fact that it can't be verified is just not. But there is some crazy people out here. Very crazy people. I saw just how crazy the public can be during the Jodi Arias trial. And the threat, calling people and threats. Yeah, I know, Heather. I know what you're saying. But the reason why no one got on the stand and testified as a, what do you call it? Someone who, it won't come to my mind right now. The reason why no one got on the stand and testified for Jodi Arias, as a friend or anything like that, there were supposed to have been people that did, is because people were threatening their lives. and people were threatening the life of what's her name, Lavelle, Miss Lavelle, the domestic violence woman. They were calling the places where she was supposed to be doing speeches about character witness. Thank you. They were calling the places where she was going to be doing speeches about domestic violence and trying to get the events canceled. And they were the people that were supposed to testify on her behalf as character witnesses, that their lives were being threatened to the point that they would not go on the stand. And, yes, what Jody did was horrible, but you can't go around threatening people and violence in this whole mob mentality where, everybody wants to, it's just, it's nuts. I've been doing this a long time. I have gone to quorum court meetings, city council meetings. I have protested at my county courthouse. I have protested at the governor's mansion. I have protested at our state capitol. But it's always been peaceful. It is always never, ever, ever violent. I do not believe in that violence is going to get you anywhere. And, that goes, this kind of summarizes this entire podcast show about violence and the violence that is out here in this world, that there are just all these different levels of violence until you get to straight up murder. You've got kids bullying kids, you've got online bullying, face-to-face bullying, people shooting places up, and people shooting people for their religious beliefs and political beliefs, and just violence. Damn, y'all, smoke some grass, please. Can we get a little peace in the world? Give peace a chance. John Lennon. Give peace a chance. Smoke you some grass and chill the fuck out. Yes, YouTube bullying. Yeah, that's, And then when you have these corporate entities like this, yeah, I've never seen so much violence in my life. Yeah, legalize weed so everybody can. I have said that a million times, Heather Lynn. I have said, if everybody would smoke a joint every once in a while, the world might be a better place to get along in. You got all these uptight people, going, oh my God, weed's bad, it's a gateway to other drugs, it's a gateway to other. That's what that woman on that show that I talked about in the beginning of this show was talking about. Yeah. And you got all these uptight people that have no clue. But it's all in an effort to be the alpha dog. Just like this bullying on YouTube is nothing but an effort to be the alpha dog. I'm the king head ramrod of YouTube. I'm the king head ramrod of the Summer Wells investigation as far as armchair sleuthers go. You know, you got these dudes out here that have got daddy issues and short dick syndrome, and that's all it amounts to. That's all it amounts to. They've got to fake their way through life. And put out a false narrative about themselves to feel adequate. And they've got to how do I even be happy with who you are? And you know, it just, why do you have to put out a false narrative about yourself? Because there's like a fine line between it being a con and it being because you're having to substitute for yourself so that people will like you, so that people will listen to you, so that people will accept you. You know, I'll never forget what the Tiger King said. He said, I am gay, and I am broke as shit, and I'm running for governor or mayor, whatever the fuck it was that he ran for, you know. He was honest. And he's one of the biggest showmen in the world. He thrives on attention. Do I think he got done shitty? Yeah, I do. I do think Joe got done shitty. But that's another story. But, you know, let's just be honest about ourselves. And here's the thing. If you don't like me for who I am, couch cops. I love it, Heather. I love it. Couch cops. That's what I'm going to start telling people. I'm a couch cop. You know, just, I can't stand it. I can't stand being fake. Yes. Couch cop Heather Lynn. I can't stand to be fake. I can't stand to have to hide my faults or have to hide my wealth or where I live or how nice my home is or whatever, or what I've been through. I just cannot stand being fake and having to be around people that I have to lie to, or that I have to be non-forthcoming, you know, about myself. I want to be able to sit here and say, you know, here's my story and take it or leave it. Because, you know, when I was in school, I was bullied really bad. And I was not accepted by the other kids. And I knew very early on that I was an outcast. I knew by the time I was in the second grade that I was an outcast. And in the third grade, when there was a big major transition in my life between second grade and third grade, a very traumatizing transition. But when I got into third grade is when I really knew that the other kids didn't accept me, that the other kids didn't like me for whatever reason. And I spent years with trying to understand why those kids didn't like me, why I was not good enough to be their friend. I walked home with many of them. There were two major neighborhoods in behind the elementary school, and so we all walked home together. God, I mean, there's probably 20, 30 kids that walked home in that same neighborhood. My neighborhood attached to, okay, Griff, I'll see you in a little while, that attached to, and I was just left out. I was an outcast. And I never understood it. I'm like, I live in the same neighborhood these kids live in. I have a nice house. My parents have a nice car. I have nice clothes. I have name brand clothes, the same as they do. Why do these people not like me? What is wrong with me? And I spent years trying to understand that. And in the 9th grade, when I was in 9th grade, well, when I got into junior high school, like I said, I was on drill team. I was, the same as the other girls, and not everybody made drill team. Only 50 girls made drill team, and hundreds tried out. It was only like I think 12 that made cheerleader. And I was a pep step, and I was a pep stepper for both years that you could be. And in the 9th grade, this girl walks into my first period class. Her name's Liz. And she's got this spiky hair, this short punk haircut, spiky hair. She's got on camouflage pants and a t-shirt and flip-flops or something, I think. And her presence when she was a new student, her presence when she walked into my classroom, I was like, there's a girl I can admire. There's a girl who's got her shit together. There's a girl who I want to be like, who I really want to be like. I want to be me. I want to be free. I want to be able to not give a shit what everyone else is wearing and not giving a shit about the popular kids and why they didn't accept me and whatnot. And I became friends with that girl. And after that, that changed me. I was whoever the hell I wanted to be. I wore whatever the hell I wanted to, no matter how funky or far out it was. And I learned from her about real freedom. You know, not being a, oh my God, it's so crazy. You can look at my old Pep Stepper photographs, the group photographs. We all look just alike, except for our hair colors and some of us, you know, skin color, because we had black girls on our team too. But every one of us had the same fucking haircut. From the back, you couldn't tell us apart. None of us. You couldn't tell. Every one of us had the same fucking haircut, except for my best friend Stacy, who looked like Barbie. She had long blonde hair, and her mama wasn't dare gonna let her cut that shit off. Her mama was my hairdresser, and she wasn't gonna let Stacy cut that long blonde Barbie hair off. So Stacy was really the only one who looked different, other than the black girls that were on our squad. And I just can't, now I just can't stand to, you know, have to be fake or have to put out and say that I'm this or say that I'm that, and come out and try to sound like I'm educated. Oh my God, you can Google. Woohoo! Anybody can read the dictionary. You know, what's my word of the day gonna be? Let's see. Oh, this word means such and such. So I'm going to talk about this topic, and I'm going to use this big foot-long word, as Loretta Lynn said, to try to make people think that I'm somehow, you know, this big educated person. I am educated. I graduated high school, got 3 years of criminal justice college. And I've done a lot of self-studying about a lot of things. So, and I know who I am, and I know what I am. And I don't have to put out fake shit out there. You know, to make people think that I'm something or somebody I'm not. It's just ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. But, you know, I don't know, and I've said before that I was going to stop talking about the Summer Wells case until something changes, until there's some type of a new evidence or new, you know, an arrest or something. So, but I did want to, you know, talk about this situation, you know, that has transpired now here at the year mark, and, you know, and where does the investigation go from here? I don't know. I've said it a million times. Y'all don't want to still be sitting here 25 years later wondering where in the hell Summer Wells is. It's heartbreaking. It really is. It's heartbreaking to never know what happened to a missing child, and not know if they're dead or alive, or give their remains a proper burial, or this is not something that you want to still be reporting on 25 years from now. So with that in mind, I had been going about 2 hours now, and so I'm going to get ready to wind this up. Who's ready for July 1st? Now we got June 15th over with. Who's ready for July 1st? Do I have any Stranger Things fans in the house? Somebody, anybody. Yep, I'm ready for July 1st. I'm ready for Volume 2. I'm ready to see what's going to happen. And I'm reading that they may kill a main character off. And I think there's some debate about it, about who it's going to be. And I don't want it to be the character of Eddie Munson because, your son and daughter watch the show. I don't want it to be the character of Eddie Munson because that character is loosely based off of Damien Eccles, who is one of the infamous West Memphis Three, who I've been a long-time advocate for. And I just think that it's so cool that, the brothers gave nod to Damien and, what he went through with his whole ordeal and trial and the whole, headbanger, music listening, satanic panic, all that kind of crap. I just think that it's so cool that they kind of loosely based his character off of Damien, and I don't want them to kill him off, but I'm afraid they're going to because they think that he killed Chrissy and Patrick. The people of Hawkins that don't have a clue as to what's going on. And now I'm talking about Hawkins, Indiana. I'm not talking about Hawkins County. The people that, don't have a clue as to what's going on, they think that Eddie killed Chrissy and Patrick. And he didn't. It was Vecna who killed them. So I'm hoping that, and Chrissy's boyfriend is hunting him down. So I hope that, they don't end up killing him off, before the truth comes out. That it wasn't Eddie who killed them, that it was Vecna. So, anyway, everyone have a wonderful evening and have a wonderful rest of Father's Day. Like I said, happy Father's Day to all the good and wonderful fathers out there in the world who have been a part of their kids' lives, and let's just be kind to each other. How hard is that to do? How hard is it to, whoops, I lost connection. How hard is it to say that I'm no better than you and you're no better than me? We are equal. Let's just be nice to each other, because tearing each other down and destroying each other's lives and all this violence, and it gets us nowhere. It gets us nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. So, everyone have a wonderful evening. And please be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Good evening, everyone. Peace out. Give peace a chance.